Welcome back to AutoCAD. We're going to have a look at how we can use the isolate command to make life a lot easier when working with a large survey file. We can see in front of us in model space the Pineapple Road survey that we've been looking at in this module. Now this isn't an XREF, this is the actual original survey file. So each object you see in model space is its own separate entity. The lines indicating property boundaries or road corridors, or if we zoom down to see contours of the actual survey that has been done in the area, we can see they are all individual objects with grip points and all the relevant geometric data that goes with that. We go into our layer manager, we can see that there are 282 different layers with a vast array of different names there in the manager. So we need some techniques to make our drawing process as simple and as error-free as possible when we're working with such a large and intricate file. Now, we've looked briefly at some of those already, and that includes layer management. So for example, if we didn't really need to see the detail of these contours that we can see on the screen here now, and we can see them labeled as final natural surface, we can hide or turn off those layers. So the quickest way to do that is to use the turn off a layer shortcut button here, and then just choose one of them, and you see they quickly disappear. And those red arrows also aren't really helping us that much. And before we know it, we've already simplified the drawing a great deal. Space to finish. Now these other lines here are to do, as we can see, on the 25% boundary. Now that means that refers to the slope of the land, and so that's been prepared by the town planners to indicate to council the grade of the land in that particular area. But if we're going to work on some civil detail in our development, at the moment we don't need to see that either, so again that can be turned off. And we can work away turning off perhaps some of these other details of little points that are on the screen. Before we go too far, our drawing of stage 1 is much easier to see, and if we zoom out we can see the amount of detail shown is also greatly simplified. But if we want to go one step further and really just concentrate on the stage 1 development, then there's a very useful tool AutoCAD provides called isolation. Let's see how that works. We initially select the general area that we want to work in, and I'm using a blue selection box here, as you can see. And once that area is selected, we right click and choose the isolate submenu as shown. And in this case we wish to isolate, and that means just show these objects. It will hide the objects not selected. And this is quite similar to XREF clipping, but of course this isn't an XREF. XREF clipping will only work in an XREF. If you wish to work in the original survey file, you can't use XREF clipping, you must use something like this, isolation. Now we want to remove this last little bit here that we accidentally got in, so I can do a bit of a little selection box around that, make sure I get all the bits and pieces that I don't want to see, and then rather than isolate those ones, I can hide those. So you can see that isolate and hide are the reverse of each other. There we go, and that's been hidden. So now I've got, if I zoom out, you can see there's nothing else there. And now I can just work with a much easier screen to change any details. So if we wanted to actually change the detail of the survey, perhaps we're still in the design phase of the project and we need to, say, alter the size of the boundaries here. Perhaps lot 4 is a bit too big compared to lot 5 and we needed to alter some boundaries or something, we might want to change that. We might be still working on our road design because, of course, remember, this is a new development. So the survey from the field will tell us the natural surfaces and the natural features, but back in the office we need to start drawing the road profile and the other such features such as drainage, power and telecommunication services. So we need to be adding content to this drawing, and so to do that in a simplified and uncomplicated way, isolation can really help to make life a lot easier.